All right, everybody. We're near the end of May right now. It's been a crazy week. How the heck are you? I don't know what time it is in your neck of the woods. I'm using OBS with using my iPhone as an external webcam. I haven't figured out how to zoom out yet. Obviously, my phone is on all the way across my bed near the windowsill, and it still looks like it's a foot from me. I don't know why, so I'm having to like sit on the stool and all. You guys know it's a thing with ADHD people. We love to sit on the floor. I think it's because we start rocking without realizing it. We could fall pretty quickly to one side or the other to our demise. Yeah, we lost a pillar of the community this week. It's been controversial. He was kind of a love it or hate it type of guy. He was this cantankerous, crazy guy, but he had people that loved him, and I feel bad for his family. He just had a unique way of showing love. On the other hand, it's hard to evaluate these drama streamers and stuff. You never know. It's hard to separate fiction from reality. That's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about. I owe some people an apology. And I did not mean to gloss over or glaze over anything that I've done. That's not what I want to do. In fact, I made apology videos at the time, but they didn't get any traction and nobody really watched them. When people are convinced they hate me, they'll just unsub and stay as far away from my channel as possible, regardless of the quality of whatever I'm trying to do or the neutrality of it. You know, most people just want to trash people, keep the cycle going, or they'll come to a hobbyist channel where they have nowhere else to go. They've been chased out of every other thing. Now, when I first started here, I got this crazy surge of popularity that became addicting to me. Now, my haters are going to roll their eyes. He was never popular. But literally everyone loved me. I know it sounds stupid. If everyone loves you online, they're still total strangers, right? But it was a new thing for me. I discovered YouTube via the Discord I was in. I was part of that Elisa Jordana show, which turned out to be toxic. The Discord was horrific. And I since moved on, but I built my channel from conversations I had with people, and not based on talent, just people tuned in because they were interested in what I had to say. I have a unique personality and way of saying it. Meanwhile, I'm very unrefined. I was going through a crazy roller coaster, so I was just trying to distract myself from my regular life. A lot of us do that. So I got many subs, and there was always 30 to 60 people in chat to talk to and new people to bounce ideas off of, and I took it for freaking granted because at the time I knew I wasn't pushing myself to be at my best. I have a background in performance and entertainment and stuff, so I'm always kind of thinking in those terms. Meanwhile, I just needed some basic friends. I didn't have to do the dog and pony show for that I could connect with. And everybody in the community came to my channel. They sung my praises. They tried to get me to collaborate. They always promoted me. They said, this is the biggest, most honest sweetheart in the entire world. He's the greatest guy, greatest thing since sliced bread. I was like, whoa. But I just kept, I don't need big old compliments, but I do need encouragement sometimes. I'm a human being, and basic feedback, whether good, bad, neutral, constructive. I think ADHD people, we don't read the room sometimes. We get into impulsivity, and it clouds our judgment in the moment and beyond. So I don't expect anyone to have real deal patience with me because you guys don't know me in real life. I come to you humbly as I am, asking your sincere apology. So okay, get to where I left off. So yeah, I could go into any chat, no matter how big or small, and I would get a wrench usually that same day or week. And I would just, I'm not the sharpest guy in the world. It's hard to follow along, but I just said sweet things to make people laugh and encourage people. And there's no twist with me. I wanted to practice my kindness. I'm not trying to get money out of anyone. I'm not trying to bang anybody or anything like that. And then what ended up happening was, so I'd go to every chat and they go, hi, Maddie. And they're mostly women. There'd be like, 30 to 100 women just saying hi, hi. And I got to the point I couldn't, I was too popular to say hi to everyone. I know it sounds horrible. but this was so, it was the combination of being something very raw, visceral, and tangible, but also hitting me totally unexpected at the weirdest juncture of my life. So I just ate it up because the rest of my life was so crappy. So I elevated myself beyond, you know, and so all these women were hitting me up in the Discord constantly. And I'm like, what? But I started flirting with half or most of them in a roundabout way. I wasn't trying to take advantage of their emotions. I just had my hands full and I didn't know how to process what I was doing. I've always had female friends. I've always been kind to women and stuff. But when it takes a turn, when they're all like attracted to me, I feel compelled to flirt more or something. I don't know what it is. But I have to be careful with that. You know, I don't want to break any hearts. I think I have. But then people would invite me to their Discords, and they're big old Discords. They'd always have a room, somebody they're hating on that I never heard of. But I was more into watching the drama then, so I had more to talk about. So it kind of completed the cycle in the circuit. And make sure this thing's going first. So yeah, so I got addicted to talking in Discord, and it would say so and so's typing, you know, and I would just wait for the text to be displayed just to see what they would say. I was so starved for dialogue, you know, in conversation specifically. So I built my channel on that. So I just talked about very relevant stuff in the community, not necessarily drama based, but people were excited to join my stream and see what I had to say. Oh yeah, I'm listening in the background. I did a mini Poon memorial too, but it's a complicated issue. How are you doing today, by the way? Because he didn't particularly like me. He called me the F word and a million other things. But then I'm finding out that was kind of his thing, his shtick. I don't know. I don't know how much was real and fake. I have a hard time disseminating information though. Wow, thank you. That's a great, very powerful joke. I'll use that one. You know what though? I did have to make a no bathroom talk rule because the first week I hit the algorithm, it was all diarrhea jokes, nothing but. So I'm like, okay, you guys forced my hand. I don't want everyone to come in here be blasted with those type of jokes as just a nonstop barrage. You know what I mean? But I do have a sense of humor, so I hate making a rule like that because I don't want to limit free speech in one sense. I'll address the alleged chat blocking things in a second. So anyway, I got addicted to Discord and YouTube, and I saw how they both went together. Like somebody would be hyping up their stream, and then they'd post the link, and then we'd all go over there and party and crack wise in the chat, and then we'd go back to the so it kind of was connected, you know. But what started happening is I was getting pressure from some of the women and even some of the dudes. I think the guys were just trolling me to get nude in either the voice chat or to post pictures in the adult section room. And I eventually just gave in. At that point, I had such low self-esteem, but it was at this crazy intersection where I was working harder than ever, and I'm in my 40s, and my body started to look better than any time in my 20s. So I was proud of it, and I had no medium to show it off. Meanwhile, I'm not a very showy person. I'm just a very categorical, you know, I was thinking it as a life category and almost like a necessity instead of like something I should avoid. I should have known better, you know. But then I would post like a semi-nude or a full-on nude in the thing, and to this day, people are disseminating my nudes and sharing my penis pictures around in the Discords, which is horrible. I never meant for it to be that way. I'm not an exhibitionist. The pressure was so much, you guys. They don't tell the other side of the story. All these women were always trying to get me to get nude. Like, what would you guys do? And it just kind of came out, not out of nowhere, but during a weird juncture in my life where I couldn't ignore it. And yeah, so it's like a catch-22. So the people I offended, you know, they get to talking and gossiping, and people start boycotting my channel and stuff like that. And then there was a time I got nude on stream too, which was crazy. And I already apologized for that. And there was crazy aftermath, like a huge falling out. I lost hundreds of subscribers. And then I lost my last channel because I got a third-party copyright strike for a Saturday Night Live clip. And I was talking over it, so I thought it was fair use. But that third party is forbidden. So I'm a slow learner, but I really should have thought that through. You know what I mean? That being said, the pictures were high quality, as I'm still proud of my body, but I shouldn't just try to show it to the world. That's crazy. I thought I would only join certain discords with people that would be my friends for years or life or whatever, because they seem so positive and not like they'd be backstabbers or strange, but we all have problems. We all go through tough stuff. But yeah, I was like, yeah, if everybody wants to see it, I guess you know what I mean? I should have just held back. But it was the combination of those things. Plus, I was feeling more impulsive. I was on the wrong ADHD meds. I was on Adderall when I should have been on Vyvanse, so it was messing with my personality and my mind. So then what happened like that, I said, I got to get out of all these discords. So I did. I just dropped them all. And to this day, people still send me links, but I'm like, no, I can't get caught up in that addictive cycle or tempted to be a naughty boy. You know what I mean? Hey, sweetie, happy Friday. Ooh, it is Friday. Yay. But yeah, it was just driving me crazy because I had so many girls and women all around me just, hey, Maddie, let's see that cute little buns of yours. I'm like, you know what I mean? And a lot of guys would be flattered, but I don't think of myself as a good looking guy. I have so many problems in my life I've had to overcome, and I'm still getting dragged down to hell for many of them. And so I am very humble. When I join a thing, I seek to just fit in, not stand out. But I had this one little quirk that kind of flared up, and I was like, what? So I should have resisted peer pressure. I should have been the bigger person and saying, this is weird. I should have thought through the ramifications or how it looks in the future, whatever. But I didn't think I would change my mind. I thought we kind of are who we are, and I was just going through a weird time, you know. But now I see not all that glitters is gold in this world. But yeah. But then, so I'm sure they're trashing me to this day in some discords, but it's kind of like if a tree falls in the woods, nobody's there to hear it if it did it really fall. So, but then other people, they wanted to like forgive me. They had great interaction with me and they held on till the end. And I don't blame them for not talking to me again. But at the same time, I felt the weight of the world was on my shoulders because literally everybody said I was the greatest guy ever. So I felt like a celebrity in a sense. I know it sounds really stupid, but relative to what I was before, I had the worst year of my life previously to coming to YouTube 3.5 years ago. So it was like a relational point of comparison type of thing. I'm like, one thing is clear over here on the left and one thing is elevated on the right, and it seems so much better in a way that seemed real to me. Does that make sense? But I shouldn't have tried to escape my circumstance through escapist entertainment and just spending too much time on here. The drama channels, you start watching them and you think it's innocent fun or just a novelty, and you'll start laughing, and pretty soon it gets addictive in your blood just like anything else. And you can't stop. Now, if you're in Discord too, the cycle continues. So they'll watch a stream, then they'll come and they'll just talk about it, and then they'll go, oh, let's go party over here, and it seems like it ties together, and it seems like it's more valuable and fun than it actually turns out to be sometimes, you know. I thought it was a quick and easy way to meet people and dip my toe in the water and stuff, because I'm not the most social guy in the world, but I wanted practice. And I wanted an easy way to make inroads. Oh, thank you so much. I gotta say, well, I guess I can address this now. Somebody said that I've had a bunch of lurkers the past 2 weeks, and somebody piped up in chat and said that people are terrified to comment because they think you're going to time them out or ban them, even worse. And I don't really believe in certainly not banning anyone. I don't think I would do that. But they showed me how to check my block list. And then I was like, oh man, there's 20 names I don't recognize. And I saw the 5 people that I actually timed out personally. So I had to take all the wrenches away again. And Shayla's not, she's in the hot seat. She's not getting a wrench back anytime soon, even if I give them to everybody else. I think she ruined it for everyone. She was modding with her feelings. She was getting jealous of the women flirting with me, so she was banning them. I'm like, oh gosh. But I want to express my humility. I know everybody here, lots of people are just narcissists, or they're so lonely they just want to hear their own voice, and you can usually tell it within 10 to 30 minutes of their stream. But I implore you guys, I'm just a work in progress like everybody else, and I going through different stages of my development and stuff. 3 years ago, I knew I wanted to play more guitar, and I hadn't played in 10 years. But I had no incentivizers to do it. I only had an iPhone 8 Plus that was halfway broken with bad Wi-Fi. I had no external mics or anything to sound good. And now I'm getting all that together, and I'm like, I don't even know if I still want it anymore. It's been so long. I'm just so exhausted in my life. But of course, we need something to do for hobbies, even in our old age, to keep our brains going. But if I can inspire even a half a person or one person, I've done my job. And I Here is you. She's beautiful. I gotta say it. I'm trying to be a respectful boy, but but yeah, you guys can see. Like, do I seem like a nice guy? I mean, you guys can tell from the vibe. My secret doesn't hold any. I mean, my smile doesn't hold any secrets. I just lay it on the line for better or for worse. But then when I apologize, somebody will say, "Oh, he's whining." I just like to be thorough because sometimes I cause confusion and I'll feel like I have to overcompensate. But all my freaks and real ones know I'm a good guy that have been with me since day one. And my enemies will hear rumors or something and then they'll try to judge me or whatever. But they've never actually been to any of my streams. And just a casual look at my playlist will tell you, I'm doing 30-second guitar shorts. Most of them are getting 1,000 views this past month. I do cooking streams, rants, and reviews. I do fun little reaction videos for you guys. I'm trying. And I want to enjoy what I do, but I also want to push it a step further, knock it up a notch if possible. But everything has to be organic. Oh yeah, she's got beautiful lips. Oh man, I'm a sucker for that. And she cooks like crazy. That's the most attractive part. I need a woman to cook for me. But yeah, no, I did some cooking streams. I did like a barbecue thing. I only like to cook if I'm having company because I don't want to. If I make it just for myself, I don't think I'm worthy of it. But also, I get bored too easily. And if I'm just chopping up all these ingredients, I'll get like a phone call and then like forget what I'm doing or burn. I usually burn whatever I have going on the stove. I burned the bacon yesterday. But yeah, you guys can always ask questions, comments, critiques. It doesn't have to be topical, but if you do help with the topics, that's very, very special, anyway, so long story short, I appreciate you guys more than now than ever, but I should have showed more appreciation back then. I don't know. But yeah, I all these women were flirting with me all day, every day, and they never were jealous of each other until the end. They kind of started fighting. But I thought that was very mature of them too. I thought that was sweet, you know what I mean? But behind the scenes, it's because I'm kind, I'm compassionate, I'm an empath. But some people on here see the tank top or the dancing, go, oh, he's gay. And a lot of straight guys won't come over here because they're terrified I'm going to start flirting with him. Meanwhile, it's like, don't flatter yourself. Even if I was gay, I probably wouldn't hit on you, Yeah, I'm so excited. This channel is doing much better than my last 5 channels, but then I never downloaded my stuff, so I lost a bunch of songs that I can never remember which ones I did or not. You'd think they'd be a part of my soul and brain like permanently, but no. Oh, hey Becca, how are you? I haven't seen you in like a month and a half. How you been? I was just lamenting your loss the other day. Um, but yeah, Becca, I checked my block list. My rogue mod did ban a lot of my regulars, so I fixed that. So hopefully they'll start coming back again. Meanwhile, I'm always trying to develop something. I want to be entertaining to the new people as much as my OGs. And for years, I've been promising all this fresh content, and I just didn't had no way of going about it. But in my mind, it was a done deal. I wasn't just trying to exaggerate or whatever. So my enemies look at me and go, "Oh, look at this try hard. He's just an autistic loser. You can't. He's just flapping his arms all the time, you know." But that just pushes me to want to succeed more in a good way. It has to be on my own terms because I have to have my own ADHD scheduling. If it makes sense to me, it might not make sense to you. You know. Strawberry soda. How are you? Oh, hey Shifty, how are you? What do you think of the Poon Man's demise? Not to put you on the spot. I don't know if you. I'm sure everybody's heard at this point. I was one of the first people to hear, and I tried to scramble to put some words together, even though I didn't know him as much as most of the people on here. Um, Yay! That's awesome. You're probably one of 3 people on YouTube that actually has a job. You're doing better than me. But what I learned through this whole thing is not only are my perceptions off in a certain way, because you could tell I mean well. You could tell I'm not out for blood. I don't fire back at anyone that disses me. I don't say hateful things. I did a parody song once that somebody said was a little too mean, and then I cleaned it up. And then somebody weaponized my song, and I was like, oh. Oh, dude, you should have been part of my other channel. I literally had like 30 to 100 women in here, risen my brains out. Shift might remember. And I was trying to play it off like, oh, yeah, I get this all the time, but I didn't know how to handle it. So it must have gone to my head. Because when I lost the first channel, I said, oh, wow, I'll just make a better channel. That'll be easy. Oh, no. Because I thought I'd be better at reaction videos. So what I did was I did these long form reactions where I would just get high, fall asleep in a puddle of drool on my floor, and then I would wake up to the realization that I'm the worst reaction streamer ever because 1, I didn't pay attention, and 2, I don't know what I'm talking about. 3, I wasn't passionate enough to start with. I just thought it was a current topic. Maybe I'd have something to say, you know. But some things are not what they seem, and I'm glad I got to throw some stuff at the wall to see if anything sticks. My heart goes out to his family and friends. May his memory be a blessing. Yes, Poonster. I'll check out your channel, Sky. Still getting the hang of this stupid OBS. It's not very intuitive, but once I dial it in, my goal is to get to the point where I'm using 2 mics at the same time, one on my guitar, one on my voice, without them interfering or canceling each other out. Oh, hell yeah. I didn't know you smoked. Yeah, it's just a reminder life's short. But then some people are doing the one-upsmanship thing where they're saying, I knew him longer than you. Well, no, you didn't. Blah, blah, blah. You know, they're trying to like just use it for attention and leverage. But I was honest in my video. I said, guy was a piece of poo-poo in many ways. None of us are perfect, but you burned your guitar? No. Why? Were you just trying to be Kurt Cobain or something, like on stage or what? Oh man, I sold my $2,200 guitar to a pawn shop for $300 when I was living with my girlfriend in the big city, but I regret it every single day now. You know what I mean? But the good thing about Fender guitars is they're all kind of the same. Even the cheap ones have more in common with their expensive alternatives than other companies do. And so you can always kind of swap out the parts and mix and match. They're kind of like the iPhone of guitars. They just look very normal and they're just easy to change the strings and do all this stuff, you know. I used to have an Ibanez, but they're more associated with heavy metal because they have the pickups that supposedly give you a fuller sound. But now, in the age of smart amps, you can dial in any tone, any combination of effects you can daisy chain together to get the exact tone on your favorite songs. At just like the push of a button, it all fuses. Instead of having a physical pedal board, I used to have one of those Boss things you stomp all over. Poon Handler, he's this crazy, cantankerous streamer. He's big in the drama community. He's passed away yesterday. It's kind of a crazy rabbit hole. But he had sepsis in his foot. Did a bunch of drugs and stuff. It's pretty sad. I actually did a theme song for him. It's on this channel on my playlist. But he had a larger than life personality. But he just fought with everyone. We don't know if it's his way of being affectionate or not, but everyone's doing tribute streams to him. People are crying and going crazy. It is tough to maintain a humble, balanced attitude on here. Because on one hand, we're all the same in many ways. And on the other hand, that's what can repel us and get us fighting instead of bringing us together. So it is what it is, but also we can make more out of it and make the most out of it and try to put some positivity out there, no matter how boring it is. But really, like those first channels, I did some drama streams. And I'm like, wow, I might be able to get used to this because I saw how popular it was, and I got so many views when I would just weigh in on a certain subject. So I never knew if I was getting better as a streamer or if I was just tackling the flavor of the week, and then it was just kind of built into it that it would get more views, you know. Also, I'm not picking on you, Sky, but don't make anyone feel uncomfortable in my chat. This is a safe space for everyone, and it's in your guys' best interest because when it gets packed, it gets super fun in here. Like, that's true. Very well. We're all somewhere on the spectrum wheel on these YouTube streets, pretty much. But I wanted to address the whole banning rumor thing because, if nothing else, during and especially during my hard times, I want to be attentive to my chat because I don't want to appear stuck up. Like I say, I'm a little slow sometimes, but I'm always trying to show appreciation because I'm so paranoid of being misunderstood, you know, ever since those mistakes. Yeah, a lot of people hold grudges. They don't forgive me. I don't expect them to. I'm just laying it on the line to do my part and offer a sincere apology because it hurt my channel. It hurt my brand. I lost a few pretty close friends. Most of my OGs stuck by my side and they realized I was just going through a tough time. But also my meds were making me hornier. So I would get in these rooms with all these women and I was way more likely to do whatever they wanted me to during my vulnerable, easily influenced stage. And I feel bad because I'm an adult. I should make the mature, wise decision no matter what. But sometimes I'll start feeling out a situation in the wrong way and I'll go overboard, jump the gun. Start feeling out a situation in the wrong way and I'll go overboard. Give me 1 second here. What time is it? 30 minutes. Okay. Zay. By the way, honey, I still don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. That's why I didn't say anything when you came in. I was embarrassed. Is it Zaydaza? Oh no, yeah. No, but towards the end, well, first of all, the guys are like, "Oh, he's gay because he dances." I stay as far away from that channel as possible. Then kind of pat themselves on the back when they said that, like it's a tribute to their alleged masculinity that they don't come here. Meanwhile, people are like, "He's the best. He does great karaoke panels. He gets the joint jumping. He gives everybody dancing and laughing." I don't do panels anymore because the pressure was too much. Sometimes I just want to talk about my disorder in a serious way. Sometimes I just want to go nuts and do somersaults. With all my hyperactivity, yay, I got something right for once. But like if I did this stream on my older channels, which are more associated by the algorithm and the subscribers as talk based, this stream would be getting hundreds of views right now. But as it turns out now, the algorithm is favoring my workout streams and my concert music streams the most. And my shorts are doing really well, right? So now what I'll do is if I have something I want to present as a topic, I'll say, can I make a 3 to 5 minute short version of this first without going live? And if the answer is yes, I'll just do that because it's way more profitable. Well, I haven't got monetized yet, but it will be soon. I got no strikes on this channel, so that's pretty good. Shows I'm being a good boy. But yeah, there was all this controversy and stuff. But people don't see, unless you walk a mile in somebody's shoes, they don't see what led up to the thingy. I wasn't just trying to be raunchy or naughty. I'm not that sexual of a person. I'm very conservative Christian. I'm very G-rated. Even when I'm single, I don't believe in banging a lot of women just to have a notch under my belt or for the practice or just for the sex, on its own. When I was popular, it was easy to become more popular because one friend tells 5 friends tells 10, and then it goes on like that, Yeah, I'm on track for monetization. I just have to have, I think I need 2,000 watch hours. How does the watch hours work? Is that the hours people are watching my content that I make, or combined with what I actually watch on here for entertainment? You know what I mean? Is it a combination of those two or just one of them? But yeah. But I had much more subs on my first 2 channels. This one's about halfway there. But this channel sat in limbo land at 300 subs for 3 months and did not move no matter what. And ever since I did my guitar shorts, I got like 500 more subs just from that alone. So that's pretty cool. But they're all guitar players and they're all guys. No, I still have 70% female viewers. But yeah, people this month haven't been as vocal in my chat because they think they're going to get banned or hid or timed out. Oh, okay, that's cool. But when I do like a hangout stream, I'll almost always privatize it, just because it's like a thing for the in the moment people, and I repeat myself a lot. But I should leave those unprivatized and then count towards my thing, because Yeah. The last 5 long form streams I did got hundreds of views and dozens of likes, but I privatized them. And each one said like 3 to 7 watch hours, something like that. I wonder how long that would take. Maybe a year and a half to get monetized. I don't know. But I'm going to get a PayPal account so people, because I just have Cash App, I don't have a bank account. And so that's limiting some people because I know it's illegal in some countries. They don't have it because it's not very secure or whatever. So if I combine those two, that would be pretty good. And yeah, I went through the last 5 months with no donations. A good MMA fighter. Really? I'm 6'7", but I'm kind of lanky in person. Like I just look like a big lifeguard. I don't associate myself as being like a big tough fighter guy. Um, when I don't eat, I can get super skinny. Like it's like me cut right down the middle. You know what I mean? But a little working out rounds me out accordingly. And I'm 44 years old. There's no way my skin should look this good. Like it's like glowing. It's not like I take 1,000 showers a day. Uh, but no, I don't know. I'm not a barroom brawler. I try to avoid physical fights as much as possible. Um, yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, yeah. But I'm not. I don't have very good balance or coordination. Sometimes I trip over my own feet. I have no finesse. You know what I mean? I should like jump rope or do more yoga or something. No, but I've always had a kind of a mental block against getting in fights. I could have low testosterone. I don't know. But I've never been a fan of the bars, the overpriced drinks, and the atmosphere. And when I was in a band, I loved playing in bars, but I never felt like going there just to drink. You know. I kind of miss my clubbing days and my DJ days. I remember I DJ'd a French like wedding, and I got out on the dance floor and started dancing to try to get it to let everyone know it was time to dance while I let the record play. You know. And I wasn't a record scratching DJ. I just played music and did the fade ins on the mixing board, fade in and out. That's all I did. But this was old school, you know. It was mini discs and CDs and stuff. There was no digital attaché or memory cards or internet or anything. But then I got it that all these super hot French women start booming me with their butts, and it's like a pinball machine. They're going pow 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 from all sides. I just see these big round butts. Wow. But I had a job to do, so I had to run back to change the song. I just but yeah. So the guy that was never invited to many parties growing up was in charge of throwing the parties. I did karaoke too. I have the old school huge speakers and stuff. Hey, what's up? This is crazy. I haven't heard from you in a month or two. How you been? I can't believe I usually don't remember people because I'm usually too stoned. But I remember pieces of conversations and stuff like that. But I appreciate you guys. Nobody will get banned in here or timed out if you're even in the ballpark of respectful. I'm pretty lax and loose. Somebody said you have too many rules for your channel, but I'm just trying to establish a precedent, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Thank God for ChatGPT, getting my questions answered, right? The plus version is worth the $20 a month if you're doing anything in a creative capacity. So what I can do now is every single stream I could make a customized picture in under 2 minutes, and it doesn't take me all this extra work of describing it or whatever like I thought it would, you know. Yeah, man. You're the one I thought was a dude. I remember that. Hey, Dazed, how are you, darling? Dagnabbit. Every time I see you, I got a guilty conscience. I really want to get over there and stop being so shy and start singing it out. Oh, really? Oh, awesome. Well, now I do acoustic lives instead. It's actually easier, less setup, even though it's more practice and more like I get self-conscious, but I'm trying to force myself to do that instead. Because somebody bought me a new guitar. It was just $100 Epiphone, but it's got like the triple cutaway, so it sits on my lap and it's super lightweight, and I could play way better. I could play it almost like my electric. I could bend the strings and do all that stuff. How tall is it? Well, I know how tall my stepdad is. He was like 5'10", but my mom was like 6'2" at least. But yeah, with the ADHD thing, I can't predict when my patience will start to wear thin, which is horrible. Because I always want to support people and hang out and do all this stuff, but I'm just not a big hanger outer. I'm not a big conversationalist. I have trouble with flexing of my meds, fluctuation. But I've also made peace with the other side of the spectrum, where if my life isn't going to get any better than this and we're just winding down to the grave, so be it. I have to be 100% content right now, but also willing to move forward, at a good pacing. But yeah, thank you guys for being patient with me. I will reward you in the most beautiful way. Oh, that's just a friend. Oh, have a nice sleep. It's only 2:45 p.m. Pacific time over here. But yeah, I think the actual karaoke thing I've kind of given up on. Nobody wants to join. It's too competitive, or something goes wrong with my sound that throws it off. It's always something. I thought that would be a draw. I thought people would see me leveling up my game and be excited for me and want to participate. But I'm just gonna lay it on line right here and now. Sometimes I say things that sound stuck up, or like a cope, or like I'm posturing. I'm not perfect. I gotta be honest. I'm having a really hard time in life with my mental health right now and a lot of stuff. I know we all are. But I was hoping that would make me more relatable and not push people away. So if people join and a workout stream, they might say, "Oh, he's a good-looking guy working out. He's probably has a degree in something or whatever," and they might think this, it's not a good place to hang out. It's going to be stuffy and boring. But for what it's worth, I mean, I've never been married. I don't have any kids that I know about. I just am who I am. And with the extra time available, I want to use it in the most wise way, beautiful possible. Yeah. What can I tell you? But people still insist I'm gay. But I haven't gotten that much ever since I stopped the dancing streams. But the dancing is very much a part of me. I do that even when I'm not streaming. People don't understand. But the fact remains, that's where the basis of my apology. I simply do not know how I come across to first timers if I'm doing something that's way different than something else. Because I know I'm the same cohesive person with just multiple interests. And I thought that'd be kind of a good thing or a neutral thing, but then it just like projects a certain thing. Like they'll come to my philosophical Bible stream and they go, "Wow, you're really articulate and accepting and whatever." And then they'll tune in and see me dance and they're like, "Oh, this guy's a buffoon and he looks like he's drunk or smoking crack or whatever." And then they'll just unsubscribe. So I know you can't please everyone, but I thought people would have a little more space in their mind that two things could be true at the same time. You know what I mean? And the hard thing is I was always the one counted to forgive everyone else, and because they associate me with kindness. So I'm supposed to be this big lovey-dovey guy with no feelings of his own that can possibly get hurt. And so people would just walk all over me, and then I would lash out and call them out on it, and they'd be like, you're not so cool, you're not so cool, you know. But it's hard work to try to work on your, I know, adulting 101. Wah. But I made enough life mistakes to be relatable and humble, but I'm working on enough stuff that I could be interesting to people that want to collaborate and want to join a hobbyist channel. You know. Yeah, I saw these 4 older gals doing this diamond art stuff, and they were just so wholesome, cracking wise, and enjoying each other's company. I'm like, wow. I said, I know 10 people that don't know anything about diamond art but would adore your channel, including me. So I promoted it. And then I was thinking, well, how come these hobbyist channels don't show up in my algo and my feed and whatever? We just need more hobbyists. Remember hobbies? Even before I was good on guitar, I knew I had the best hobby ever. But now I have more incentivizers to play live. I could play around coffee shops in my hometown, but it's kind of dull. Here I can get instant feedback, or if I'm having a nervous day, it's like a no harm, no foul, you know, just to play for some strangers on the internet. I can't see their facial expression, you know. But then I was like, I'm 44. If I start practicing now, it's not the same as when I was young, and my brain just absorbed all the stuff. Plus with my disorder. But then I'm like, well, if I have to choose between spending my time here or in this category, I've got to choose the right one, you know. I'm going through cha-cha changes. But I think, yeah, the women liked my first few channels because I would tell relationship stories. I would talk about being single when I was. And I was just very practical, you know. But I don't know. It's all a matter of perspective. I mean, don't I seem like I have potential? Or do I seem like an old man just as a try-hard winding down his life? I have to accept both. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I can't do half the stuff I used to do. That's just a fact. But I don't want to always have to reinvent myself to people that don't have my best interest in heart or that didn't like me from the start because they were jealous of me. Meanwhile, yeah, I did the wrong thing and I caved in. You know. The key is to find consistency. Like I meant to do my Bible study 5 days a week. That hasn't come close to happening yet. But then I'm like, what did I do in that space? I don't even remember. Watching too many courtroom shows. I've seen every movie and TV show. I don't need to keep going back to that. But I have PTSD. So like at night, it's more about having a time and place to sit and meditate and cool down with some tunes and some visuals. Because before, my life was just a roller coaster. Everyone was literally dragging me to all these things, and I had no time to lower my heart rate. But then ADHD can make you lazy or make you seem lazy and cut off your motivational juices in strange ways. So that's why people are like, wow, he's so ambitious, but he never really follows through. Maybe it's all talk and just jive or whatever. And I could see that, but meanwhile, I'm suffering too. You know, I'm in between surgeries. Only money I make is from the occasional donation on here and selling plasma. But I haven't been able to get to that because I don't have a car. My brother-in-law usually takes me. Crashed my last 2 cars, including my stepmom's, which is horrible. I don't know if I'll ever get my license again. It wasn't like taken away from me. But I had so much anxiety during that time, I don't know if I could reconnect with it now. But yeah, I can't figure out how to keep this camera from not zooming in automatically. When you stretch it to fill the OBS screen, it zooms in like as you stretch. There's no like setting, like there's no like fit to screen setting to, or there's no like normalize for vertical setting, which is really weird. So I have to fight this thing every time and it sucks. Now, I think I'm going to get the mesh Wi-Fi system. That way I could go live on just my iPhone and have the quality, picture quality not fade with the Wi-Fi thing. Yeah, that's the thing. So we can't worship our scheduling and our tasks like other people do. So with ADHD, you're forced to develop a unique system and perspective on your life. You say, am I doing well enough for me, not for other people? You have to say that. So like, yeah, I went 5 years without a laptop computer. It took me 3 years to save for the MacBook. Well, now I have it and my life is 10 times better than it was, even though I'm reminded of all these programs I'm going to have to learn to, hopefully make more money with, but I have to incentivize myself with all these things. Then sometimes I'll try to learn something and I'll just be screaming at the Chat GPT, you're sending me in a circle, you mother effer. Yeah. But when I do learn something and it actually takes, I get a lot of mileage out of it for myself. And it does enhance my life. But then my skills change, my personality changes, and my interpretation of what I did will change. And I'm not able to reconnect the next day or week or reflect on it at the end of the day. Some variation of that. But I was so stubborn in the past. I should just try to work within my wheelhouse and have my niche group of people on the spectrum instead of trying to appeal to literally everyone. That was my downfall. For a while, I thought I was just like an everyman, but then people stacked all this secret responsibility on me that I wasn't thinking about. Like, yeah, Maddie, you're always so cheery, and they would sing my praises everywhere. And then I would have a bad day, and I'd try not to cry just for them. But meanwhile, I thought that was part of my appeal, the complete honesty and transparency. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Well, I'm going to stick to my guns. And hopefully God will build something out of it. All in his perfect timing and all that. I think I'm going to do the jam stream today and a Bible study later. I want to be popular enough so that people can get some good out of it and I can get the good feedback to reciprocate. But I want to be niche enough that whoever discovers my channel and is prone to enjoy it can feel like they've made their own personal private discovery. You know what I mean? Like that feeling you get. Someone who's good at what they do, but also down to earth. And I'm trying to combine these good qualities into one. Yeah. But I knew I didn't want to be a drama streamer because if I just said negative things about people all day, even if it was warranted, then I'm putting myself on this pedestal to be the supreme righteous judge, and only God can see in the hearts of men. When we yell at somebody, we're only right a small percentage of the time, and that's stupid. Later on, we look back and go, I just projected. I was going through something and I just yelled at that person. And it wasn't cool, you know. Hello, how are you? You know, that's what I'm always saying. If you guys knew how my life was behind the scenes, you would like, how is he smiling? That's not even possible scientifically, you know. But I'm confused. I want to do better on here, you know. It's my fault for trying to use one platform for all the different things I'm into. I thought it would just be a way for me to keep track and do better, if nothing else. And if something hits, great. If not, no harm, no foul, you know. It doesn't go over. But I think the contrast was so sharp between Mr. Rogers guy that could do no wrong, and then when I did wrong, people were beyond shocked, and it was like a novelty. They're like, "You're not so cool. You're not so cool." You know, which I understand, but I would forgive them and help them if I could, and sometimes I don't get the same in return, but that's all right. But the Bible says, "Don't cast your pearls before swine," which is an interesting verse. They said, "Give an eye for an eye, love your enemies." But if someone is constantly dragging you down and they're not on your level, you don't have to have them incorporated in your life, you know. But yeah. What else? Yeah, you guys can ask whatever you want. It doesn't have to be on topic, you know. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. He's got it all under control. But yeah, I've run away from God so many times in my life. He's got it handled. Meanwhile, there was times I thought either he's mad at me or I'm mad at him or both, and it cancels out. And I didn't know that was just my limited human understanding of the thing. Meanwhile, I had felt guilty because I was doing bad stuff and hurting people and not living up to standards, you know. But yeah, it's that weird part of life. But some people on here are so narcissistic, they'll make a mistake and they'll just deny it and gloss over it in a weird way. But then there's people that just lie in wait looking for you to screw up, that are jealous of you. And then the slightest thing, and they'll be like screenshot it and be like, ah ha ha, point the finger. And a lot of people can be fake on here, groom you and mislead you, or kiss your ass and then turn out to be against you. But I have a kind of a simple philosophy. If people come here, they're kind and courteous to everyone in my chat. They don't have to be nice to me per se. It's always just a bonus. And they follow the basic rules and contribute to the general discussion. What more could I ask? You know, not some professional newscaster that demands respect everywhere I go. Whatever. Well, that is God's sovereign grace and his common grace. Or wait a minute. Oh, there's two kinds of grace. I don't know if I explain it right. So yeah, God, you know, people says, why did good things happen to bad people? But they never say, or no, they never say, yeah, why do good things happen to bad people? They always say, why do bad things happen to good people? Well, what's your definition of someone that's good? You know, we all have our own, because some of us had horrible childhoods that we've had to take therapy for, and it skewers your vision on the world, you know. Yeah. So he has his flawed system of government and cops and order in place to keep the world from completely exploding, right? If it was complete anarchy, it would suck. So he's upholding things to a degree like that, but he's using his own timing and own reasoning and stuff like that. But yeah, everybody's life seems random to a degree. You could be the greatest person in the world, always giving your time and money to the needy, and God could be blasting you with all these tests or whatever. There's no guarantees in life in that way, as far as things on earth, you know. What do you doubt? But yeah, the Ten Commandments. What if there were 30? That just shows there's a lot of gray areas. God's not trying to burden us by his 10 Commandments. Now, the Holy Spirit works in your heart when you're a Christian to eventually realize those are worth keeping and makes it easier for you to do so and whatever. Yeah, there's no easy answer for that. Because they says Christians have their faith tempted sometimes every day too. I always want to give up the fight, and I'm not a strong person in other categories, so I know God's sustaining me in a weird way I can't explain. But yeah. Because then you could take that argument super far. Why do innocent children die every day when God can just physically stop, stand in there and stop it and intercept it? I mean, that's horrible. That makes your brain just burn to a cinder if you try to contemplate that. But not all things on this earth were meant to be understood, because that's where we get prideful. We walk around boasting about our knowledge, or we say, oh, I read a bunch of books and stuff, but we're not, even if you read all the books you could, there'd still be a million more that you didn't get to during this lifetime. And what do you say about that? You know what I mean? You still have to have some flexibility, some concession, and some open-mindedness for, hey, maybe I'm not supposed to be in control of absolutely everything. Because lately I've been thinking about tornadoes, fires, crazy rain, and all that stuff. Think of all the elements. God, allegedly controls all those. Any one of those can level a whole city of houses. We've seen it on the news. Some of us experience it in person, To me, I just say, no, evolution can't be real. Those forces are amazing to look at and witness. They're just so powerful. They're just so crazy. And I don't even know the science behind all that stuff. I don't study it. But it just leaves me like struck with wonder and awe and amazement, Yeah, well, sometimes God seems like he's more merciful to others than other, we like to compare our lives to others and complain, but we don't know the full extent of what that person's going through. But sometimes he won't allow someone to pay for their sins or crimes or get arrested or whatever. And sometimes he will. Sometimes you step on an ant and he'll cause something bad to happen. It seems like that. But yeah, I used to say, is God always testing us and or punishing us to refine? Because he talks about the refiner's fire. His Holy Spirit refines you over time, but we're on our own journey timeline. Some things can't be quantified. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, I mean, not to get preachy, but technically this, you were not saved by a good work, so it's like a good and bad news situation. But when you're a Christian, your good works count for eternity, and they count for more on this earth, and God can supposedly direct you a little more with what to do when you pray and stuff. But I mean, life is short, and I don't know what you believe about the afterlife. I just think the complexities in this life are too much to bury and ignore and explain away through evolution or any other thing like that. But initially, people put up resistance. Like, I don't want to, life's hard enough. I don't want to give up my sin on top of everything else. You know what I mean? They're thinking about it the wrong way. But the Holy Spirit makes those things, like we always think someone's does more good works than us, and we're always like, what makes them tick? They're not any more special than me. They're flesh and blood. They were born, kicking and screaming into this world. What are they, just set apart by God to do more stuff? And I think that's true. We have to accept there's different wheelhouses for different people, and just like every part in the body performs a function, and together they're stronger than the individual parts. Yeah, and we can't, because there'll always be something in our life that doesn't make sense, that we can't compartmentalize. I've found that to be true. But do we go too far the other way and say everything has meaning that we're responsible to uncover in this life? I don't think so. But then Christians say everything we do makes us stronger, whether it's a time of discipline or testing. And I don't know if I believe that per se. It's just something good to say to ourselves to keep us going. But sometimes things are just bad, and they just are what they are at face value. I don't know if there's anything to be learned from everything necessarily. Yeah, he's a God of order and logic. But you see, he let humans let their sin run rampant, and sin physically destroys all these things in the world, right? Like everything is a result of sin, and like a little anger now and then is normal, but if the anger is watered and it can give way to full-on war, and that's crazy, then all these innocent people get unalived just because somebody let their anger flare and let it spill over on others. It's just, when you look at it that way, sin is like a cancer that eats away at our society and just it demolishes stuff. And even people that aren't Christians, they have some type of sense of right and wrong, or they think they do. Well, where does that come from? But when you become a Christian, you can utilize all that stuff and leverage it 10 times better for the eternal stuff, which still requires a ton of faith to believe, right? Because we can't see God physically and all that stuff. So that's why I'm a Christian, but I'm also a realist. There's any atheist could come in my chat and say, you know what, man, God sucks. He's not real, blah, blah, blah. And if they can articulate why they feel that way, I love it, because I've been there 1,000 times before. And then I'm like, well, one, we don't want to be entitled, because that's not good. But two, I'm like, wouldn't it have been more worth your while to utilize me more in this life so that your good works could be carried on for your kingdom? But then I'm like, I'll feel bad. I'm like, no, God doesn't need wimpy, stupid me that always makes mistakes. He needs the tough soldiers in the army. So then I'll get down on myself like that. But then I realize that we all do that. And I know some Christians that we would consider flawless, but behind the scenes they break down and they go, oh, I don't know if I'm doing enough stuff for people. Well, what? Exactly. And then there's some things that exist just for the beauty, and that wouldn't make sense otherwise. Like, why? And then there's too much creativity. There's too much variety between the animal species and the different types of animals, and in nature and in the solar systems and all the stuff. It's ever so slightly too crazy. And the more unexplained it is, the more it points to God in a weird way. That's crazy. Even in an infinite universe, imagine living for infinite amount of time. Sooner or later, you run out of space and matter when you expand. That's wild. And then you watch a nature show about an animal. They'll be like, a hippopotamus force of bite is like a truck falling off the Empire State Building. And you're like, what? That's just crazy. Every description more amazing than the next. Hey, I'm a simpleton. I'll trust you on that science thing, but I ain't going to look that up. That's beyond my pay grade. That's beyond my brain right now. I got to be honest. I do appreciate your contribution, but I am a simple stoner musician. I see something and I react emotionally, which I know not always good, but I see something spectacular and I try to quantify it like everybody does. And then I just kind of kick back and go, wow, God's crazy. It makes sense. If he's all powerful and all knowing, it kind of makes sense that there's some stuff he wouldn't want us to know yet. But we want to. That doesn't mean we automatically deserve it, right? Oh, that's interesting. The bird chirped twice. I've never prayed and asked for a tangible sign of a bird or an animal chirping or whatever. Um, but that's the thing. God could give us the exact answer that we want, or he can provide in a different way just to blow our minds and just to show us that he's in control. Meanwhile, he owes us nothing, and we technically owe him everything if he's real, which causes this weird disruption. It's like a disturbance in the force in Star Wars. We just feel that weird sensation. Um, yep, I'll be listening for that birdie chirping, and I'll know he's chirping for bald. Trust me, I had quite a few experiences where I felt like it couldn't be coincidence. Something is protecting me. Yeah, I sometimes I'll be like, no, I'm a horrible Christian because I've worked much harder for much less of a reward on earth. How much more so should I do for my heavenly Father? And think of it like that in a more grandiose thing. Because I think of all the work I put into trying to keep just a really low level job and I was screwing up on the clock. I'm like, come on, God, I'm just trying to earn a living. Plus, I'm responsible with my money. I don't have any vices or any whatever. But then, I guess he was trying to get my attention. I've been fired from dozens of jobs. I'm like, come on, Lord. Yeah, filed for bankruptcy, I think. Or no, I had like 3 super overdrawn bank accounts and I had to close it out in a weird way. I don't know how I did that. Um, yeah, we have to value life, but we can't worship our time on earth to the point where we start thinking the wrong way. The world values celebrity culture. Well, not so much anymore because we're seeing the cracks are more than starting to show, like with P. Diddy and all that. But we get sucked into that too. It's tempting. If we have a bunch of non-Christian friends that we're always hanging with, that they're going to rub off on us the wrong thing, the wrong philosophy, and everyone has their own scattered approach. Yeah, meant to work for it. And we understand that concept to some degree. Um, Yeah, but it's not. It's never linear like I want it to be, and then I get mad and shake my fist at God. See what I mean? It goes in that weird cycle. Things are coming together in my life that I never thought possible 3 years ago to this day, but all in the most random, backwards way ever. Um, like when I stopped being able to work 3 years ago, I never thought that would be the case. I was always training my body and brain to work. I got my work permit when I was 15 and never looked back for many years. But as the mental disorders started crumbling my brain, all these abilities just started dropping out of the equation slowly but surely to the point where I didn't know what was going on until I got diagnosed at the age of 28 after ruining my life and losing my house and losing all these things. That's what I don't get. All the worshiping and going to church, praying, etc. Praying should come from within, like some sort of meditation, not reading books surrounded by others. If you're hanging with, well, that's a great point. But think about this: are you a concert fan? I don't know what kind of music you like, but what was the last amazing concert you went to? Or there's a communal experience that can't be denied when you're singing with other people in a peace and harmony. It can be the most fun, transformative thing ever. So apply that to a Christian in church. That's what we're thinking. Anyone can sing in the shower, but if you're singing with a bunch of like-minded people who are just raising their hands and closing their eyes, it's amazing. The music, obviously I'm a music man, so that stands out to me. But also in the Bible, it technically commands Christians, do not forsake the assembling together, as is the habit of some, blah, 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 blah. And not all Christians can agree on that. Some say a home Bible study is just as good as a church, and some, but it's more of an accountability thing, and it's a in sync praise thing. Does that make sense? Oh, really? Oh. What kind of music do you like, just out of curiosity? The last concert I went to was Primus before the pandemic, and then I haven't been able to afford to go to one since, but um, well, if you're ever in a scenario where you're singing with other people, it's powerful. I guess that's my point. Um, but it makes us feel more committed to the restructuring of our minds and our lives when we start going to church and we're kind of complaining. We don't think we want to go, and our minds are racing, but then God stabilizes us to worship. Oh, you're only 28. Oh, dude, I'm 44 and I'm gonna have the same thing. They say I grind my teeth in my sleep. So he's like, you should get a mouth guard. I'm like, yeah, yeah, right. So then I went in a year later, and they said your teeth have been ground down to the point where they look like wisdom teeth. All my molars are. It's like you're gonna need all caps and 3 extractions. So my insurance only covers 1 cap per year, and so they quoted me like 50 grand, or no, it was more than that, I think. It was awful. And they came out and she presented it like she was like a letter from the military service, saying that somebody passed away. They're all hanging their heads in shame. I'm like, you idiots, trying to rip me off. So I'm just going to get the extraction because it's free, covered by insurance. But they're going to take off my last molar on this side. So when I bite down, it's going to be all weird. And then they're going to take a top one on here, I think, and then fill one cavity. But now I have so many nooks and crannies on the surface of my teeth. It's even if I brush all day, stuff still gets in the deepest part of it. So I might just get a partial dentures or something. And that they quoted that, and it was way cheaper than the fillings. It was like $1,000 or something. Classical music, 70s, 80s rock, nice. Oh yeah. But my last checkup was great except for the teeth grinding at night. I had no cavities or nothing. Because I use the Sonicare toothbrush, and it's 1,000 times better than a regular toothbrush. It feels just like I got out of the dentist chair every night when I use it. So, um, oh yeah. That mouthguard thing is weird. So I got a cheap $12 one, but it doesn't. I spit it out in my sleep. It doesn't like strap on or, well, it like molds to your teeth. You heat it in the microwave, and then you got like 3 seconds to put it in there and hold it, and then. So I molded it perfectly to my teeth, but it just doesn't stay in. Um, so the dentist wants to make a custom mouth guard, but those can be like 2 to 6 grand. Um, so I just got to see. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got cocky too. But yeah, the grinding teeth, I just can't picture it because it's not like I've ever woken myself up while I'm during it. You know what I mean? How hard can I be grinding away to the bone is actually grinding to smithereens? But like, I think I don't know. Everybody's made different, but if there's one thing I think a lot of us can agree on is we all try to be as good as possible or whatever. But then when we do sin or something pops up in our life that doesn't quite fit into the equation, where do we go in our brains when we try to evaluate that? Because it's always weird if nothing else, right? If it doesn't fit, like we tell a lie and then we kind of regret it. Why did we do it in the first place? One, and then why did we regret it later on? You can see how sin always tears apart the framework, no matter how. And the God talks about anything can become an addiction, if you're not careful. And maybe we've done a small sin and gotten away with it, or just got on in our day in our minds. But if you've ever been addicted to anything, addictions are usually never good by definition. You know what I mean? That's God's like punishment within itself, and then He could choose to punish on top of that. Oh, I just have Medicaid, and the dental plan is not good. They only do one cap and one cavity a year. Um, and I don't think you can save them up. But I called like 4 dozen dentists in my area. Either they didn't take my insurance or they had 50 people on the waiting list. It's not any doctor's appointment I've just gotten in there with no problemo, perfect insurance and everything. So they, oh, yikes! Sorry. Yeah, genetics do play a big role in your teeth. But then some people they say, oh, they never get cavities because they drank fluoridated water back in the 80s or 90s when it was a thing. Remember, they thought fluoride was going to protect your teeth. There's this whole controversy about it, but I think that is the case because it's going to sound gross, but I had like a year in my 20s where I was homeless, and I don't think I ever brushed my teeth. I just like ate some fruit at night, some apples to, cleanse the surface or whatever, and I never had cavities that year. Well, Michigan's got good insurance. Um, but then I was looking at bordering states, And some of those were like, we can take your insurance. Like, what? That doesn't make sense. I'm actually not afraid of the dentist. I've had extractions and surgery before, and it always went super good. And now the technology is even better, I would imagine. Like 10 years since I did it last. But they say you can't smoke weed 3 days up to the thing because the stuff they knock you out with might not kick in as much, and you might wake up during the thing or have a regular heartbeat or something like that. I'm like, bitch, I have smoked weed before every single surgery, and it's been the best decision of my life, and it never had any complications. They said, oh, this is different because it's like a nitrous oxide thing or whatever, or the local anesthetic. I think there's like 2 different ones. They give you the choice some places, and I don't know. For some people, it might be allergic. I don't know how that works. Sing Britney Spears. I will on my concert stream. Thank you for asking me. I do Baby One More Time. My throat's kind of sore right now, but come to that, you guys. I never promote it. I'm averaging about 150 views per stream, which is up from my 20 that I used to get just a couple weeks ago. I appreciate you guys coming out for that. It's not supposed to be this big showy performance, even though I try to do as good as possible. But it's for like beginning guitar players. You can ask whatever question. We just crack wise, have a smoke and a joke, and have fun. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, even my x-rays were $260 just for one x-ray. It's so stupid. My insurance should have at least covered that, if nothing else. But I mean, what a weird life for all of us, because even if we have the best life during a period, we're still going to get older, and then things start falling apart as a result. Well, that sucks, because I'm still the same person I was when I was born. In one sense, I'm still me. I inhabit the same brain, but now I have to, life was already hard, and now I have to deal with all these hospitals crap, you know. Yeah, I asked ChatGPT. I said, am I really screwed with the weed? They're like, just err on the side of caution. And they said you could smoke, 24 hours prior and still be okay or whatever. But the hardest part for me is I'm getting dehydrated with my Benadryl. So they say you can't even have a sip of water in the morning and nothing after midnight the night before. And that's why I had to cancel 2 visits just because of that crap alone. And it sucked because I waited for months to be seen. But I have to rely on my stepbrother because I'm not driving right now. So I have that little extra wrinkle I have to work through. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Anyway, guys, I am going to go in about 5 minutes. Questions, comments, critiques. I can take it all, baby. I can take it all. I love that happy gas. Yeah. Doctors and dentists don't make me nervous. I've had a bunch of surgeries. But now I'm hiccuping and belching after like every sip of water. It's a complication from having my hiatal hernia taken out here. It started at 3 centimeters or 3 inches, but then it grew to 6 or 7 within a year. And like, we got to get that sucker out of there. I hope you're having a great day too, Dixie. We love you over here. I use the royal we because I know it's true. People will love you. They just haven't met you yet. Have a great night. I woke up at noon and it's only 3:30 p.m. Pacific over here. I feel like it's 9 a.m. So now I got to re-regulate my system on my meds because now I'll stay up till 2 a.m. on the cycle and just keep it going. I've got to take my trazodone sleeping pills, which are expired, by the way. And my doctor is saying, I can't prescribe you sleeping pills and appetite stimulant at the same time because they cancel each other out. They make you super groggy. I'm like, just do it. Because now I'm dying. I'm on my second day with little to no calories. And my muscles are fighting to hold on. But my back is starting to thin out. My back muscle is the first muscle to go when I work it out. I appreciate you guys talking. It's been so cool. I was so sad that my chat was too afraid to say stuff for thinking they get banned. I mean, of all places, you won't get banned here unless you really push the limit and make everyone in my chat freak out. Yeah, then the Bible says, woe to you who, when all men speak well of you. So God was trying to teach me a lesson in humility. You know, everyone was singing my praises and all this other stuff. And I'm just kind of an average guy trying to get from point A to point B and not always doing the greatest job. But I was happy I could represent something positive, you know. But then they'll wait for you to fall, or they'll wait for a chink in the arm, or just to point the finger. But I still take responsibility for not rising to the occasion and doing all I could. Yeah, I mean, I care about people and humanity, and I don't look for an excuse to like time someone out, you know. But I remember my old popular channel, and I remembered what a utopia it was, with everyone sharing their recipes and getting along. So people wouldn't come for me, they would come for my chat, and they'd see, you know, many people at the, you know, that they knew, and it was just a good hangout spot. Then I got repetitive, I got controversial, I lost several channels. And I never remember people's screen names. I just remember snippets of conversation. So when I went to add everybody again, I couldn't find them, I couldn't remember them, or they lost their channel, and some didn't want to hear from me, I'll be honest. Perfected the art of trolling. You know, as long as you troll with some soul and some originality, it's good. But look, not everyone likes the same stuff. Not everyone's looking to have a conversation on here. Some are just thumbing through and they'll just cut and paste insults or whatever. And I used to be like that in my 20s. And if I had the internet when I was a teenager, I would have done all that trolling big time. I remember the old dial-up days with ICQ and AOL and Yahoo Messenger. But my stepdad would have the timer on the family computer. We were allowed 10 minutes a day just to check our email and get on and off. So I started talking with all these women all over the world. Well, girls, I should say. I was a teenager then, like 17. But like, it was like a novelty. But there wasn't all these like communities. It wasn't easy to find certain things. It was just... Have to show love, but what's the need for negative words to people? I don't know, man. You tell me. You might have more insight than me. I don't know everyone's background or walk a mile in everyone's shoes. I have 2 new mods that are the same trolls. See them and run. Oh no. So yeah, that's the thing. If I marketed myself as any form of a drama channel, I would have super unsavory bad people over here every single stream. But when I do get trolls, they get bored because I don't respond, and then they eventually give up because they don't care about hobbies anyway. They can't relate. And then sometimes they'll get jealous of me. They'll come to a concert and they'll be like, "Oh, he's a show off." No, I'm not. I'm an idiot. I don't think I'm any good. It's just something to do to be semi-constructive while I can. Plus, it's what I've wanted to do the past 3 years. I just didn't have the money to get the new computer and stuff. Yeah. But sometimes I just need basic feedback for a basic question or something. Or if somebody's learning OBS, they'll like kind of come together and help them out. Just little things like that, you know. I don't know what I want to make for Din Din. I've got a lot of leftover pizza, but my appetite is just not good. But the previous week, I got a deal on frozen pizzas, really high quality ones. So I ate nothing but pizza for that week. But it was, it was like thin crust, garlic chicken. It wasn't like super bad for you type. But yeah, I don't like to cook a lot. I need things ready right when I'm drooling for them with my attention span. Oh, that means a lot. I just want to say it really does mean a lot, because sometimes even people that like me, they won't tell me what I'm doing good, bad, or neutral, and I never get the feedback, and I'm never able to utilize it properly. So when you say that, it's not just about, oh, there's a pat on the back. I don't know if I'm doing a good job all the time. I don't want to waste all my time if that's not the case. So if you guys can tell I'm approving, even if not every topic is for you or you can relate, I love it. You guys see what I'm trying to do here. That's cool, More of a what? An OG GG4 fan or Nuke Daddy? I don't know what that means. Is that a video game? I don't know. That's a strain. I don't know. I don't do any dabs or vapes or anything. I keep it simple. I get the discount shake for like 30 to 60 bucks. And I just milk it for all it's worth using a one hitter, the metal cigarette. People think it's a crack pipe. I yell at them for it. But yeah, hopefully I'm just now starting to kind of mature in my life and wrap my head around certain things. When I have to go off this, they say I have to go off 3 days after the surgery too to heal up, because it dries out your mouth. The area has got to stay moist or whatever. I think I might quit during that time. I don't have any psychological addiction or true chemical addiction to it. But for a while, I was on the wrong dosage of Adderall, so I didn't have any happiness juices. I was always depressed. I didn't feel like talking to anyone, and this kind of loosens me up, See, I'm not a connoisseur. I don't have a good palate. I can't tell the taste differences between them all, and I really don't care because I've been broke for so long. I've always just have to go with the cheapest one, And it's cool. I don't need to be zonked out of my mind and reeling from the ceiling. I just need to make each day palatable somehow. But it's probably annoying to watch me on here smoke all my chambers. The curse of the 7 chambers. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, okay. I should have known. Yeah, but now you know why the one hitters are cool. Because it's not burning away in your hand while you're like chilling to hand it to your bro. if like a pipe, you're wasting most of the plant material. You'll smoke it and then take a second to inhale, and then it's still burning away in your hand. But this, you only burn what you need as you need it. So you actually end up absorbing more. But I tried a fancy vaporizer and it couldn't get it to absorb fast enough because I have super high metabolism, you know. But my tolerance isn't that high because I only smoke a bowl and a half equivalent a day, spaced out over 2 sessions. But this week I gotta learn iMovie so I can make shortcuts of, like, if I have a concert live stream and there's only one good 30-second song, I can just delete the rest and extract the good one, you know. Before, I only knew how to use the trim feature on the YouTube Studio integrated, and that just lets you cut off as much on the end or beginning as you want, but then you can zoom in and you can see where there's no sound on the grid and just like delete the dead silent spaces or the crappy jokes, you know. Whoa, that's crazy. I've never smoked anything above a 34%er because I've always just gotten the loose ground flour, pre-rolls, and stuff like that from the shops. But that's wild. That would be a good one-hitter quitter for me. But this one, I'm smoking 10 to 30 chambers. Oh no, that's crazy. An ounce a day? Whoa, dude. I guess if you can afford it or grow it, then more power to you. But man, no, an ounce lasts me a month or month and a half. You know. Yeah. But I wonder if that would, like, if somebody held me down and forced me to smoke a whole ounce. See, I know I have a ceiling. I know where my ceiling is. It's after like 10 to 15 of these. But like, so that it wouldn't just be about saving money. It was just I genuinely don't need that much to feel, you know, a certain way. Um, I can't get that fancy stuff anymore. I used to get the joints with the keef, you know, glazed with the shit. Hey, what do you think about those all-in-one automatic grow boxes? Are those worth the money? Because I'm not very smart. I couldn't keep up with the plants on my own, but this supposedly gives you the perfect temperature. It waters everything and feeds it perfectly. It grows it perfectly and does all these things. And they're only like, I think I saw one for like $600. And it teach you how to do it. I don't know if you've already regulated your system a certain way. I don't know if there's any hope for you. You'd have to wean yourself off of it, and it would. I don't know if you'd get crazy or not. But no, if any recommendation, you buy one of these for $7 and use this instead of whatever you're using now, and that way you can tell it'll sink. It'll still get you there, but it'll sink in just the right ways, and you can control it a little more. Because some people get addicted to the ritual itself, and it, like, let's say you smoke before bed. Well, here's what I did. I started my second nug session was supposed to be at 9 p.m. every night, but slowly but surely I rolled it back an hour, and now I'm at the point where it's at 4 or 4:20. But meanwhile, during that time, it's more about sitting on the floor, watching my shows, having control of my situation or whatever. Oh, but what I was going to say is during that time, I'm still doing the chambers across those 4 to 6 hours, even if it's only, you know, if I'm forgetting to pick it up. And so that's where the ritual part comes in. But if you time yourself and you see how much you're actually doing, you could see you might not need as much as you think you do. You're just used to ingesting it all, because most people do have a cap, I think, unless they be capping. No, because I have friends in illegal states that wanted to grow, and some of them have the grow boxes, and they say, yeah, it's like magic. There's no smell, don't use much electricity. But I don't know how all that works. I used to be a trimmer, so I would trim it when it was nice and sticky, but I don't know anything about growing. I just did the grunt work for minimum wage. Oh, that's right. You said you quit. I forgot. I thought someone else in chat said that. Congratulations, I think. Yeah. But now I'm seeing my first session is kind of redundant since I got my Vyvanse balanced out a little more. So I have a little more reason to live and natural push towards certain task switching and categories and stuff. So, octopots. I don't know what that is. I'll look it up. That's awesome. My thing is like, it helps with at least 3 of my symptoms and side effects and insomnia and appetite, but it makes me want to work out. It makes me want to play or listen to music. And it makes me want to talk and joke and do some other socialist things that I would normally never have a push towards, normal. So I can't figure that out, if it's worth the trade-off or if I've just convinced myself that. I don't know really, but it does affect my memory pretty crazily. But I'm trying to pace myself. I'm trying to keep myself from worshiping my goals and being like, well, I got to make up for lost time, and then like burning myself out, burning the midnight oil, and do all that stuff. Oh, nice. But now, since I slept in, my first session is going to bleed into my second session with no break in between. So I've got to regroup. I might do concert stream if I can get the shed set up, but we'll see what kind of mood I'm in. But thank you guys for tuning in. It was a good conversation. Have a great time. I'll see you on the YouTube streets. Come to my concert hangouts. Help me promote them a certain way. I don't have like an angle that I'm trying to work, and I can't figure out. I need a hook or of some kind to get people over there. Willie's new drink. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that because I've never had any cough or lung problems. I've never had any throat problems. So I don't know. Some people say the butane's bad. Some people say the smoke itself's bad. I've never known any stoner to have any problems with his lungs or at the doctor's. Maybe they just don't talk about it, but I've never heard of that. I thought it was supposed to help your lungs, But also, with my metabolism, I can't have edibles. They never work. I used to eat the entire tray of brownies at the party and feel no effect. They're like, hey, he's the party king. He's hardcore. I'm like, no, I just want to get buzzed and feel what you guys are feeling. I feel like cheated out of the experience, you know. Just to have a title of hero, I'd rather just have fun. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll do some jamming later, hopefully. Fix this webcam thing on OBS. It's still zooming in a stupid way. Oh, yeah. All right, guys.